Yo, what's up? Here we go again. This your boy Dante coming to you right now. I came across the video. I had to share it. I had to do a reaction. I had to do something about it. And before we get into the video, I need you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Listen, I think that YouTube is suppressing my videos. I had someone call me yesterday and tell me, hey, Tay, honestly, I don't think your videos are getting the reach they should. Maria, I enjoyed the conversation yesterday. Just shout out to you. Modern Renaissance man, much love to you, Ty, Van, Brandon Tatum, all you guys that have influenced me. I just have to share it. I think his name is Rich Doc. Man, love your channel. Devin Gibson. I'm just calling out people that I can think on the top of my head. I want to shout out real quick for being a positive influence to me. So I just want to, shout you out real quick. But let's get into this video right quick. I'm not going to delay the time. Let's get into it. All right, let's go.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy would ever hope or wish to match. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
Did y'all hear what he said? Man will be who he was born to be, and that was free. I mean, it was so many things that he said in there that was so deep. He says that instead of subversion, we should have elections. But, they say that we try to subvert, the election that happened in 2020. It was subversion, insurrection. These are the buzzwords that go out there. Then it's like, intimidation, instead of being able to make free choice. So let me intimidate you if you're a black conservative. Let me intimidate you and call you an oxymoron and be like Senator Hawson and say, get rid of the whole Republican Party, just make you feel bad, feel like you're a Sambo or a coon, or make you feel like you are a Uncle Tom, which they don't even know Josiah Henson is his real name, but they always want to make you feel bad for thinking other than what they think. So long as you're thinking and you're a monolith, as long as you're thinking the way they think, you have no problem. But as soon as you say, no, I see it a different way, then all of a sudden you get attacked. It's crazy. I mean, and this was, JFK back in the day. This was when Democrats made sense. Now they've gone too far left. And as Trump would say, when you go woke, you go broke.
Malcolm X, you were involved in a controversy some months ago with your leader. Is that over?
Well, I've been silent for the past 90 days because of some statements I made concerning the President of the United States, which were distorted.
They were distorted?
And yes.
What did you say, Malcolm?
Well, I said the same thing that everybody says, that his assassination was the result of the climate of hate. But only I said the chickens came home to roost, and which means the same thing. Climate of hate means that this is the result of something. And when I said chickens coming home to roost, I said the same thing.
But you did not say that you were glad the president was killed.
No, that's what the press said. what will I look like saying that I'm glad the president was killed?
Malcolm, this is your first public statement in that 90-day period, is it not?
First time I opened up my mouth in 90 days. That's why I'm talking so fast and so hearty.
You feel, however, that we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull a knife out, much less try and heal the wound.
Let me pause real quick. If you listen to what he said, and if you don't remember, run it back. He's basically saying that they will censor, they will chop up what you said to paint a narrative. Even back then, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Anything that people do, they chop up and they make things the way they want it to be so they can paint their narrative. I mean, everybody look at Malcolm X, and you got to look at him and look at his work and understand that he was for his people, which I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at, you want to see your people thrive. I'm not mad at that. But the way they have it in history was like he was just this militant dude that was out here full of hate. He said succinctly that, it was hate that caused the president, which was, I believe, JFK, to be assassinated. And so he's calling it out for what it is. It was hate because you're not speaking what I want you to speak. So you have to be censored or we got to remove you. This horrible, man. This is what's going on even to this day. And it's even worse now. It's even worse. Even worse.
Don't even admit the knife is there.
Do you have any?
Yes, sir. This is American justice.
One more thing. He said, you know what? If you stick a knife in me 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, that's not progress. He said, basically, let me heal. And this has been the problem with America. Even though slavery was a problem in America, everybody know that. We know it was heinous. But how can it heal with every election cycle you bringing it up? You bringing up things like the dude in Kentucky, you walking around with a noose around your neck. You know what I'm saying? Basically talking about being lynched when you was never lynched. And I'm quite sure if you go back 3 or 4 generations, that probably was way back when. And guess what? White people was lynched too. So it wasn't just black people that was being lynched. The hate that is going on in this world, and I can speak about America because I live here and I am an American, is that the reason why these people are getting killed because of hate and because of evil. Evil has no color, and as I always say, it's not a skin problem, it's a sin problem. And we don't want to deal with sin. We don't want to deal with it. And hate is a sin, just in case you didn't know. It's a sin.
Yes, sir. That's right. This is American democracy. Yes. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy.
Right. Did y'all hear what he said? I'm going to run it back real quick so you in the back can hear it real quick. He says this. Right.
Now, if I'm wrong,
run it back. Because I think I run it back for a while. Let me run it back.
This is American democracy. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Right. Now,
in which part are we here talking about? Well, both parties talking about democracy. Aren't we in a republic? But they're always saying this word democracy. And as we see, especially from the left, is that democracy is definitely hypocrisy. They can say that in 2016, the election was subverted or taken. But if you say it, you're censored. Because in 2020, it was the most safe, clean, and upstanding election we ever had. There was no nefarious or fugazi things going on. But rules for them, not for us. Like now they're trying to take our protection away. It's just a lot of things that we seen that happened back then. It's repetitive. It's happening over and over again. And if you do not learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. And I'm going to tell you one thing about the left. I know for a fact they don't want you to learn about history. Because if you know history, like that the Democrat Party was the parents of the KKK, and that they was the one that was down with Jim Crow and all that. If they knew that you knew that, they know you'll probably vote differently. But I don't know. Maybe we wouldn't, because there's certain things that we do know and we still vote for them at 90%. It's sad.
If I'm wrong, put me in jail. Right. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me.
We need an action program while we are Muslims, or while we are Christians, or while we are Whatever we are, we still need an action program that will eliminate these evils that are in our community. And this is what we're trying to do with the Muslim Mosque Incorporated.
Do you consider yourself militant?
I consider myself Malcolm.
I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, one of these days last week, that they absolutely were going to kill me.
What steps will you take to protect yourself from this threat?
I take no steps. I have a rifle. If anybody comes to my house without a good reason, I intend to try and use it.
Did you hear what he said? They asked him a question. He was saying basically they tried to kill him. And it was like, basically, what you gonna do? He said, listen, I got a rifle. And if you come to my house with some trouble, with that smoke, I'm about to blow you away. I mean, I'm gonna protect mine. So if you notice now, it's 2022, and I don't know when this was, in the 60s sometime, is that they're now in 2022 still now trying to say, look, let's take your weapons, because they know if we take the weapons, you can't defend yourself. And Malcolm, he gonna say something that I think was to his own demise. But I'm gonna let him say it out of his own mouth, and I'll say my commentary on that afterwards. All right?
That's all.
Right now?
No, I don't worry. I tell you, I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago. And I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
That's what I said. The Muslims claim I bombed my house. And if anybody can find where I bombed my house, they can put a rifle bullet through my head. It was my children and my own life and my wife's life that was at stake. You know.
Now, if you hear what he just said, it sounds like to me that he's saying that his own people took him out, the Muslims. It sounds like they're the ones that took him out from just listening to what he said. And then it was something that he said that I think that we have to be very careful of. Power of life and death is in our tongue. What we speak, it'll happen. So he said there will be if he was lying, they could put a bullet through his head, and he pointed right here. And that's what happened. They end up shooting him and killing him. And so we got to be careful what we speak. Even though everything in this world looks so negative right now, still speak positive words, because positive words bring positive results. If you think negative, if you're a pessimist and you see everything, upside down, you see the cup half full half empty instead of half full. If you always have the negative outlook in life, then you're going to get what you put out there. You know what I'm saying? It's just a rule of law that when you speak things, it comes back on you. So be careful what you speak.
What temperature was? It was about 15 or 20. I stood in my underwear, bare feet, in the middle of my driveway with a gun in my hand for 45 minutes, waiting for the police or waiting for the fire department to come. If I want to put on a show, I can find a better way than that to put it on. And if you attack me, that's one thing. I know what to do when you start attacking me. But when you attack sleeping babies while you are lower than a guy... The only thing that I regret in all of this is that two black groups have to fight and kill each other off.
And do you hear this? And it's still happening today. Chicago, Charlotte, Atlanta, Baltimore, Philadelphia, you name it, we're still fighting each other. And it's sad. Whites killing whites, blacks killing blacks, blacks killing whites, whites killing blacks. It's sickening because of evil. And like I say, just listening to this man for a long time, I was like, him and Martin Luther King, they had different ideologies, and one was a Muslim, one was a Christian, but they both had a common goal. And I don't understand how all these people that you can look at it for yourself is that they had love in their heart clearly, and they wanted peace. But how did all of them end up dead? Why did they kill people that was trying to unite the United States? How is it that we end up seeing them memorialized? And like I say, when it comes to Martin Luther King, they put him on a pedestal, but when they come to Malcolm X, they disintegrate him. Something's wrong with this picture. We got to do our own research. Like I said again, I don't believe that none of these people was racist, because if it was the case, Malcolm X wouldn't have talked to a white reporter. Like Lightfoot said, she didn't want any white reporters. She wanted only black people interviewing her. What I'm saying is that we're still doing the same thing. If we want to see change, you got to begin with us.
The person you know as Malcolm X is no more.
And the way he said it, the person you know as Malcolm X is no more, no remorse, no nothing. Man, I'm gonna tell you, we got some heartless people in this world. Very heartless.
Quiet place, Harlem has come to bid farewell to one of its brightest hopes, extinguished now and gone from us forever. It is not in the memory of man that this beleaguered, unfortunate, but nonetheless proud community has found a braver, more gallant young champion than this Afro-American who lies before us, unconquered still. I say the word again as he would want me to, Afro-American. Afro-American Malcolm. Malcolm had stopped being Negro years ago. It had become too small, too puny, too weak a word for him. Malcolm was bigger than that. Malcolm had become an Afro-American, and he wanted so desperately that all his people would become Afro-Americans too. There are those who still consider it their duty as friends of the Negro people to tell us to revile him, to flee even from the presence of his memory, to save ourselves by writing him out of the history of our turbulent times. And we will smile. They will say that he is of hate, a fanatic, a racist, who can only bring evil to the cause for which you struggle. And we will answer and say unto them, did you ever talk to Brother Malcolm? Did you ever touch him or have him smile at you? Did you ever really listen to him?
You haven't done the right thing.
Was he ever himself associated with violence or any public disturbance? For if you did, you would know him. And if you knew him, you would know why we must honor him. Malcolm was our manhood, our living black manhood. This was his meaning to his people, and in honoring him, we honor the best in ourselves. However much we may have differed with him, or with each other about him and his value as a man, let his going from us serve only to bring us together now. Consigning these mortal remains to earth, the common mother of all, secure in the knowledge that what we place in the ground is no more now a man, but a seed, which after the winter of our discontent will come forth again to meet us, and we shall know him then for what he was and is, a prince, our own black shining prince, who didn't hesitate to die because he loved us so.
The assassination of Malcolm X was an unfortunate tragedy, and it reveals that there are still numerous people in our nation who have degenerated to the point of expressing dissent through murder, and we haven't learned to disagree without being violently disagreeable.
But I think of love as something strong and that organizes itself into powerful direct action. Now, this is what I try to teach in the struggle in the South, that we are not engaged in a struggle that means we sit down and do nothing. That there's a great deal of difference between non-resistance to evil and non-violent resistance. Non-resistance leaves you in a state of stagnant passivity and deadened complacency, wherein non-violent resistance means that you do resist in a very strong and determined manner. And I think some of the criticisms of nonviolence, or some of the critics, fail to realize that we are talking about something very strong, and they confuse.
And what Martin is saying right quick is that, you know what, we can resist without being violent. We don't have to tear up our neighborhoods. We don't have to loot. We don't have to burn down stuff because we feel that there's an injustice. we can stand up and protest in a civilized way. It don't always have to lead to violence. And some people get mad at you, like, why are you not looting? Why are you not rioting? Why are you not, out there chanting Black Lives Matter or whatever the case may be? Why are you not doing it? Because you black and you don't care about black people, and you saying stuff like all lives matter. Man, I'm gonna tell you, you don't sold out. Nah, all lives do matter. They matter when they come out of the womb. They matter in the womb. That's just my belief, and I ain't changing it. And I don't care what nobody thinks. What I'm saying is, what he's saying is basically, you don't have to be violent to get your point across. You can say things in a way where people get it, where it doesn't have to lead to you throwing hands. I'm just saying.
Non-resistance with non-violent resistance.
Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
And if you notice something about JFK, if you notice something about Malcolm X and now Martin, and then we get ready to go to Robert Kennedy, if you notice something about these men, they were fearless. And they spoke out because they was fearless. See, the thing is, we have so many men now that are fearless. They won't speak up. They won't take care of their families. As Malcolm said, look, I'm going to protect my family. When baby's in the bed asleep, my family is asleep, yeah, I'm going to protect my family. This man is saying, look, I'm willing to be somewhat a martyr for the people because I want to see people win. So when you think about the things they tried to put in us in 2020 and 2021, it was constantly trying to put fear in us. Be afraid of your neighbor. Don't go outside. 6 feet, social distance. It was all of this fear thing. But most of us that was courageous, that was fearless, we're still here today, and people hate us. Some people may try to dox you. They may try to counsel you. But I always say this: if God be for you, who could be against you?
I have some very sad news for all of you, and I think sad news for all of our fellow citizens and people who love peace all over the world. And that is that Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis, Tennessee. Martin Luther King dedicated his life to love and to justice between fellow human beings. He died in the cause of that effort. In this difficult day, in this difficult time for the United States, it's perhaps well to ask what kind of a nation we are and what direction we want to move in. For those of you who are black, considering the evidence evidently is that there were white people who were responsible, you can be filled with bitterness and with hatred.
Hey, let me give you a quick point real quick. Is that there was a video of the man that was with Martin Luther King, and it's on YouTube. If you look it up, it says that he said, I stepped out of the way so they could take the shot. So it was a black man that may have been in cahoots with the Dixiecrats, Democrats, whoever. Because I just don't believe that it was people on the right. And I could be wrong, because we could look at now today where the hate coming from. And they always talking about they're tolerant. Okay. But when it comes down to it, you think about what he's saying, and he's going to say something that's very pivotal, is that he could be hating too, because a white man killed his dad. But he chose to love and he chose to move past it. I understand when somebody murders somebody that you love. that you want to get vengeance. Trust me. My brother was murdered. I wanted to get vengeance. But the more I realized vengeance is God's. And the person ended up going to jail for many years. He's out now. And am I trying to go out here and kill him? No. He paid his debt to society. I can't keep grinding glass in his hand. He's already paid his time. You know, we've forgiven him and we're moving on. And it's better to forgive. It's better to love, because if you don't forgive, after a while, it's gonna be a bunch of hate, and then we can see people do what they're doing now, like this mass shooting stuff. We got to deal with our hearts, man, really and truly.
And a desire for revenge. We can move in that direction as a country, in greater polarization, black people amongst blacks, and white amongst whites, filled with hatred toward one another. Or we can make an effort, as Martin Luther King did, to understand and to comprehend and replace that violence, that stain of bloodshed that is spread across our land, with an effort to understand, compassion, and love. For those of you who are black and are tempted to be filled with hatred and mistrust of the injustice of such an act against all white people, I would only say that I can also feel in my own heart the same kind of feeling. I had a member of my family killed.
Let me go ahead and correct myself, because I'm correcting myself in real time. I believe Robert Kennedy was J.F. Kennedy's brother. I believe that was his brother. So let me correct myself. Unlike some of the news would do, run with the story and just leave it out there. I believe that was his brother. Let me check that out and I'll correct that. But I believe it was his brother.
But he was killed by a white man. But we have to make an effort in the United States. We have to make an effort to understand, to get beyond or go beyond these rather difficult times. My favorite poem, my favorite poet was Aeschylus. And he once wrote, "Even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, until in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom through the awful grace of God." What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another, feeling of justice toward those who still suffer within our country, whether they be white or whether they be black. We can do well in this country. We will have difficult times. We've had difficult times in the past, but we will have difficult times in the future. It is not the end of violence. It is not the end of lawlessness, and it's not the end of disorder. But the vast majority of white people and the vast majority of black people in this country want to live together, want to improve the...
Where's the lie? What did you say? Where's the lie? The majority of black people and white people and Hispanic and Asian and Pacific Islander, you know, if you name it, that's here in this, what we call the melting pot. We want to live together in peace and in harmony. But there's that minority that keep on striking the fire, keep on stoking the fire. They want to keep stuff up to keep us polarized, keep us hating each other on something we had no choice in. When we was born, we did not say, God, put me in black skin or put me in white skin, or God, I want to be born in Africa, or God, I want to be born in Mexico, or God, I want to be born in England, or Lord, I want to be born in Germany. That wasn't the choice. God put us where he put us because we're here for a reason. And so we got to figure that out. But he said some pivotal things here. The majority of us, the solid majority, want to live in peace. We don't want violence on our streets. We don't want crime rising in our neighborhoods. We want to be able to have our kids go outside and safely play in the yard without having to worry about being shot or, being, abducted because somebody is sick and trying to take kids and stuff. We don't want that. We want peace. We want harmony. But you look at the talking heads on TV, they're sweeping down. That's the furthest thing from the truth.
Quality of our life and want justice for all human beings that abide in our land. And what dedicate ourselves to what the Greeks wrote so many years ago, to tame the savageness of man and make gentle the life of this world. Let us dedicate ourselves to that and say a prayer for our country and for our people. Thank you very much.
What I think is quite clear is that we can work together in the last analysis, and that what has been going on within the United States over the period of the last 3 years, the divisions, the violence, the disenchantment with our society, the divisions, whether it's between blacks and whites, between the poor and the more affluent, or between age groups, or on the war in Vietnam, that we can start to work together. We are a great country and a selfish country, compassionate country, and I intend to make that my basis for running and over the period of the next few months. So my thanks to all of you, and now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there. Thank you very much.
Man, I mean, this video kind of is enlightening, is educational, but at the same time, it's hard to see because you have all these people that was trying to unite us on the foundation of love and peace and harmony. But how is it that all of them died the same way, by gun violence? You didn't hear them back in the day then talking about let's take guns. Some of the most prominent people were getting killed, but they wasn't talking about taking guns then. I'm telling you, they have an agenda. The agenda is to disarm us so we can't protect ourselves and so they can do what they want to do. And to be able to shoot with such precision in front of all those people, it's kind of ironic that they always was around a lot of people and these people are being able to get shot. Nobody else hit but the target. Makes you wonder who these sharpshooters are. How are they trained? They said the same thing about the dude up in Buffalo. They said that he would shoot with precision, like maybe he had been in the military or something, that he had been trained to do these kind of things. We got to understand the government is evil. It's evil. And the right wing, left wing, especially the establishment, we got to get rid of them. When I say get rid of them, I'm not talking about kill them. I'm talking about vote them out, and get American first people in that position where they can try to bring some type of unity in this world. Because right now, at the rate we're going, blacks killing blacks, whites killing whites, whites hating blacks, blacks hating whites. because of whatever injustice they feel that has been done. Even if they get away from our earthly judge, they got to stand before the judge. So this is what gives me hope. You know what? At the end of the day, regardless of what the talking heads say on the media, I know that I don't have any hate towards anybody. I don't care if you're black, white. I don't hate you. How can I say I love God and hate you? I can't. I can't. I can't love God and hate you. You're my brother. You're my sister. And when you're in trouble, so am I. This just is chat, but I'm not going to prolong this video any longer. I'm getting ready to shut it down. I love you guys, man. And I hope that you learned something from this video. I really do. I really do. That most of the things that we've heard about these people, if we just do a little research, we'll find out it wasn't true. It wasn't true. Stay up, stay blessed. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back at you soon. All right? Peace.